and space detectives. Today we're looking at another moon image, and this one is from Apollo 8, magazine 13, image 2330. Okay, links below in the description. The area we're looking at is this very large, bright patch here, which is a kind of double crater. And there's a number of things in this crater, which is absolutely enormous, by the way. I think this crater is probably 10 to 15 miles across. I don't know exactly, but it's very large indeed. So the things we're looking at in this crater are absolutely enormous. I cannot stress that enough, okay? The scale of these things is way and beyond almost anything you can even comprehend on Earth in size and scale, okay? I'll just get that straight before we start, because this is astonishing, okay? Now, I did cover this image a while back in 2016, and I've got that video up here. I will link to this at the end of the video and in the description as well. This is the crater, and there's an apex structure on the right. Now, we're not going to be concentrating on that today. This video was mainly about that and a few other structures. What we're looking at today is this thing in the middle of the crater. So if you want to see the apex structure, go back to this video link. At the end of this video, there'll be a card link. You can press on that. It's called Huge Moon Structures, Crater Mass 1, Apollo 8. And that was from 4 years ago. The image is good quality, but it's not as good as what we're looking at today. This is much higher resolution, and we're going to see a lot more in this one, in a lot more clarity and brightness. It's already brighter. Now, the brightness of these images really does depend upon the person that scanned the slides or the photographs. It depends on the scanner settings. So the person who sat there and scanned all these through before they started may have turned up the brightness or contrast on the actual scanner. So the quality of these images really does depend quite a lot on that. Okay. So let me show you the clips I've got, then we'll take a look at the larger image. Now, what this thing is, I don't know. I don't claim to know what this is, but one thing is for sure, it's absolutely bloody enormous, and it's not natural. As you can see here, let me zoom in. We've got the raw clip here. This is the thing we're looking at. This diamond-shaped object with a circular part in the middle. A kind of weird thing. I'm still kind of a bit shocked by this. So this crater, this inner part of the crater here is at least 10 miles across, which means that this thing here is over a mile high and over a mile wide. It could be 1.2, could be 1.5, could be even 2. I don't know exactly, but it's very, very large. And as you can see, we've got this strange sort of diamond shape to it. And this part in the middle here, and a part coming down here. And we've got some details around it as well, around here, which you can sort of make out. Now, I'm not saying this is a spaceship. It could be. But if it was, I don't really see how a sort of flying ship would have kind of landed here and then ended up sitting in this position on the edge of the crater. Let me show you the enhanced clip down here. Now, what we've got is basically a structure, it seems, and it's leaning up against the edge of the crater, and behind it we have what seems to be some kind of other structure just here. There's these pointy parts to this structure. It comes around like that. And obviously the diamond gate, or the structure thing here, the diamond shaped structure, is kind of leaning up against it. Now, how would that possibly happen? How could that be a natural structure? I really don't see how that can be construed as a natural structure. And then we've got this, what looks a bit like an opening here. And then we got the edge of the crater going off here. This is actually a double crater. You can see this is the inner part of the crater, and there's an outer part that goes right up here. I'll show you that in a minute. I'll try and get some context for you. But this thing is absolutely insane, and it's got this middle part here. And this part coming down here. I really cannot see how that could be explained away as a natural occurring part of the edge of the crater. It really is quite astonishing. And even in the raw image here, if I zoom in, you can see it pretty clearly. Obviously, you need to add contrast to this, like I've done. I tend to blur it a little bit to get rid of the pixelation. I'll show you what I do. I'll just blur it, adjust, blur. I use an average blur of about 5 just to take the graininess away. Then I'll just bump the contrast up, and there it is. That's all you've got to do. It's pretty clear, mainly because it's very, very large indeed. Now, the height that these images were taken was 60 nautical miles, right? And I've got a wiki page up here. I'll just show you that very quickly. I've got a wiki page up here with the details of the mission, and it gives you nautical height and everything. So that was the height that this particular image was taken at, and we're 60 miles above the lunar surface, Apollo 8, and this is probably about the same distance away. So that's probably 50 or 60 miles away from us, not only in height but in distance. So this bright part here of the crater, the inner part, the outer part comes around like this. The brighter part, I would say, is about 10 miles across, but the overall crater size is probably something like 15 or more. It's very, very large indeed. It could even be 20. I don't know exactly. There are other things in this image as well, but we're not going to concentrate on those today. We're just going to concentrate on this. So that's it, really. I mean, what I will do in a minute, I'll show loads of clips of all the different clips I've got. In fact, I'll show you one or two of those now, because we need to get a better context of the actual crater size. Here's the original raw clip I've got here. There it is. So you can see the outer part of the crater at the top here, and it slopes down, and then we've got the inner, smaller part of the crater here. So this is a double crater. So it would have been hit once and then hit again with a smaller object, creating this inner part. And you can see it pretty clearly there. Even in the raw image, you can see the diamond-shaped object here. The crater mass thing that I was on about is over here. You can see that dark kind of box-shaped thing there. That's the thing that I called the crater mass. In my previous video from years ago, that's the thing I concentrated on there. But there's some crazy stuff in here. Let me show you an enhancement of the whole area so we can see that a bit better. Now, these are huge images that I've got here. The original image download size is very large, so you know it's going to be over 300 megabytes. Okay, so you need to have plenty of space on your device if you're going to download that. There it is in the raw image. You can see the crater mass there, and then down here we've got the inner part of the crater with this thing, which is over a mile high, and we got another structure behind it. It almost looks to me as if it's like a gate, because this pointed shape here looks like it would have fitted over this. So this, is it possible that there could be a gigantic mechanical entrance that goes into the side of this crater and into the moon itself, and this would be like a sliding gate or a rolling gate which would kind of roll back and cover up this hole here? Is that possible on this sort of scale? Perhaps it is, perhaps it isn't. But bear in mind that there's almost no gravity on the moon. It's 1/6 of Earth's gravity. It's very low indeed. And structures could be built at almost any scale without any real problems. There's another thing next to it there. So it's absolutely insane. Let's have a look at this image I've got here. Now, if you look carefully, this looks like it would fit over this part here. And perhaps it could kind of roll or tilt to the left here and then cover up this thing. So it's like an open gate or some kind of weird structure. I mean, I really don't know what it is. I'm just trying to work out what it could be. Just making suggestions here. I don't claim to know exactly what these things are. I'm just using a bit of common sense and imagination to try and work out what we're looking at. This is insane. I mean, this thing is absolutely huge. I don't know what to call it. I might call it Heaven's Gate or the Diamond Door, or it could even be some sort of craft. But would a craft actually land and then stand up like this? I don't think so. I think it's something else. I think it's actually a structure. it's over a mile wide. It's probably nearer to 2 miles actually, when you actually work out the size of the crater and distance. It's insane, absolutely insane. And what I mean is, we got this here, right? This thing here corresponds to this shape here. Now, if this was to tilt to the left, it would cover this hole here, and we've even got a gap there, as if it's on a pivot here, and the whole thing would lean and pivot to the left and cover this dark patch here, which could be an entrance. Now, that is speculation, of course. There's not really quite enough detail to tell exactly what is going on, but that's what it looks like to me. The shapes match up, and I really don't see how this, or even this thing here next to it are natural, because that looks like it would fit over this part, this there. Let's do that again. There's a curve to it. It's got this kind of nice curve, right, just there, which matches that curve. So, I mean, it may be natural, but why would something like this have a central section to it? It's got this, like almost like a square wheel. I mean, the Flat Earth Society will love this. The Square Wheel Society is what I call them. So yeah, it's got this somewhat distorted kind of squarish diamond shape with a central part. What the hell is all that about? So, answers on the postcard, everybody. What do you think this is? Is it a spaceship that's crashed or parked there in a very strange position up against the edge of the crater? Or is it a structure, like a giant structure that may have covered this possible entrance here? Mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling. I've lots of clips of this showing all from a distance, zooming in and flying right up to it as if we're flying in there. So you'll be able to see the whole crater and all the structures around it. It'll give you a much better sense of scale. And then I'll show you the close-ups, okay? So there'll be a nice little animated sequence coming up in a second. So thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you are subscribed, make sure you have the bell pressed and that you choose your options, because a lot of people are complaining they're not getting notifications. So if you press the bell, there's options on the bell now, and you need to decide which level of notifications you want. So feel free to do that, because they keep changing these things on YouTube, and a lot of people either get unsubscribed or they don't get notifications. And I think that's why, is because they've updated the bell options, okay? So do check that out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Clips coming up now.